You're on seasonably tan.
What was that?
He's unseasonably tan.
He is tan. I think that funeral was in Puerto Rico.
So believe it or not, this is from work Tuesday and Wednesday, being up on a mountain,
Really?
and the sun was out. It was nice.
You're unseasonably.
Up in the mountain.
Nothing more.
Okay. This is the March 21st Town of Hideout Planning Commission meeting, now being called to order. First item on the agenda is, we'll do roll call. Glynis,
Here.
Joel. Here. Donna,
Here.
Rachel,
Here.
Peter,
Here.
and Chase.
Here.
Next on the agenda, we will do a approval of last month's
Swearing in.
minutes.
He's gonna switch it up.
Oh, never mind, sorry.
Does anybody have any questions in regard to the minutes from last month's meeting? Or changes that they would like to see? There being no questions, would somebody like to make a motion?
I move that we accept last month's minutes
As drafted. Would somebody like to second that?
I'll second that.
I'll second that.
Then we'll take a vote of the people who attended last month's meeting only. Glynis,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
and Tony's a yes. Okay, so therefore we will accept the February 26th meeting minutes. Next on the agenda, the announcement and swearing in of Chase Winder as an alternate member of the planning commission.
I think we actually have to do Rachel first.
Okay, we'll strike that and we will swear in and reappointed planning commissioner whose term expired January 1st, 2024. Rachel?
Okay,
All right.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead and raise your right hand for me, please. And then just repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Rachel Cooper,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and I will discharge the office of
Sorry, let me repeat it.
No,
That
say
I
that
will
again.
discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda, the announcement and swearing of Chase Winder as an alternate member of the planning commission.
All right, Chase, if you want to go ahead and raise your right hand for me, please. I state your name.
I, Chase Winder,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of this office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Perfect. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Well,
welcome.
And
Yeah.
congratulations on the twins.
Yeah, thanks so much. I thought it was a crazy idea to try to come tonight, and it was. So a lot of diapers to change, but
Wait,
I'm
they were
looking forward to being
born?
there soon.
They were born? Congratulations.
Yeah, born just a little under 2 weeks ago. So boy and a girl,
Wow.
Juniper and Kaden.
Congratulations, Chase.
Thank you. Happy to.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, next agenda item is an update regarding Hideout's land use code, which is all near and dear to our hearts. Thomas, do you want to give us an overall update, please?
Sure, I can catch you all up. So if you remember at the last meeting, we walked through a number. I think there were 22 land use code items. And so we took that to the we took the planning commission's recommendation to the town council. They heard that. They voted favorably to adopt those. And so those codes have been adopted. There was one that was a little bit controversial. If you all remember at the last meeting, we had a bit of a discussion with regard to parking, RVs, recreational boats, equipment, etc. And that one was tabled. They did not forward that one. The council, we pulled that one off the agenda and we said we would bring it back to the planning commission. And in a perfect world, we thought we would bring it back to the planning commission. Maybe there would be a couple of planning commissioners and there's a couple of folks from the public, Brett Rutter among them, who would be interested in maybe serving on a small committee to make sure that we write that sentence or those sentences correctly. So that's where we are. Everything did go through except for that one. I don't know if there is anybody. I think Joel had worked a little bit with Brett Rutter, but if there's maybe one or two of you that would be willing to work with me, Brett Rutter, and maybe a couple of other folks from the public, maybe we could try to take a stab at rewriting that one section relative to the parking for, again, RVs, recreational vehicles, etc. And then we'll bring that back to the planning commission if indeed that's what we end up deciding to do, or do nothing. And that would be the next step. So if Joel, I think we had connected a little bit a couple of weeks ago. Are you still willing to sit on that subcommittee?
Yeah, sure.
I'm
Perfect.
happy to help. Thomas, I'm happy to help.
And that's Peter as
Peter.
well?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
great. Okay, so maybe if the two of you, I'll get together with you, Brett Rutter, and we'll see if anybody else is interested in sitting in. We'll come up with some language and then bring that forward for the next planning commission meeting. But otherwise, everything else went through. We're getting our code up to date and fixing the glitches that we've noticed over the past couple of years.
Well done.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Thomas in regards to that? Okay.
Thomas, I had sent some comments also to Joel, and I'd be happy to join in with it as well.
Perfect, okay. We might have to do a couple of separate meetings. I think we can only have two of you at one time. So I don't mind doing that, but
Okay.
Rachel, I'll keep you in that loop as well, because I know you sent me some comments as well. I've got those as well. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Is the final product online, or where can we access it?
For the code?
Alicia,
Yeah.
Alicia,
ahead,
you
Thomas.
can answer that one. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I actually am still waiting for, I was gonna talk to you about this, Thomas, offline. I still need to get the final, everything, all compiled so that I can publish that and get it all codified, so.
Okay,
we
so
need to touch
I'll
base.
make sure I get that over to you. And then to answer your question, yeah, we'll have that uploaded onto Municode. And so it'll be live online right as soon as we do that. Maybe give it maybe a week or so to get that updated. We have to send it to the code company, and then they're the actual ones, I think, that upload it. But we'll get that done ASAP.
Just so you know, there's always a notice that goes out when it gets published. So you'll see that as well if you get the notifications.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
There being no more questions, we will move on to the public hearing part of the meeting. First item, consideration and recommendation to the Hideout Town Council regarding a conditional use permit to allow a temporary fire station within the RESPA zoning district. Thomas, did you want to just give a brief, quick
Sure.
synopsis of what you sent out?
I'll give a brief overview, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. So this is a conditional use permit. I don't know that we've heard a conditional use permit over the course of the past year or two. So just for your clarification, a conditional use permit is something that it is a permit. It is not a by right permit. It's not an allowed permit. It is a conditional permit. If it meets the conditions, it is something that we would recommend that the Planning Commission forward a positive approval for. I say a positive approval. Can I say that? You don't have to recommend this to council. This is something, conditional use permit is something that is voted on by the planning commission. It's not a recommendation. The council doesn't hear conditional use permits, you do. And so the final vote actually happens here tonight. So it's a conditional use permit. This is in the resort specially planned area, the RSPA, the RESPA area. This is on parcel number 0000218053 and maybe a portion of 8054. It's around 11545 North Recreation Drive. It's right at the kind of the entrance to Shoreline. I guess that's Shoreline Phase 2. So right as you kind of enter down there, these areas, these parcels, I should say, have been platted and recorded for twin homes down there, but these twin homes will not be developed for a few years down the road. And so Glenn Gabler of GCD, who's the developer for Shoreline, has agreed to lease this property to Wasatch County Fire Department. And so he is committed to allow that that use for up to 3 years. And so Jonathan Gunn, one of the councilmen, has been working diligently to try to get a fire station in town to address EMS concerns. Some of the other council members and the mayor have been working on that as well. And so this is a site that folks have agreed to. And so it is an ideal site because it's close to Recreation Drive, which is a primary access road. And so this is to allow a conditional use permit. If you remember, the first of the zoning code revisions that you all heard at last month's meeting and that was adopted at the council was for allowing a fire station in the RSPA zoning designation. And so now that that is a conditional use permit allowance, this is the actual conditional use permit application. So those two parcels that I noted, they equate to about half an acre, maybe 20,000 square feet, give or take. This is, if you don't mind, maybe scrolling down a little bit. Is that Alicia? Are you the one in charge here of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you don't mind scrolling down just a little bit more to the next page. Yep. To get those 4 conditions in there, scroll up just a smidge more. There you go. So for a conditional use permit to be approved, the application has to meet these 4 criteria. I'll just read through them really quickly. At the specified location, a fire station in this case would be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of the general plan. A fire station would be necessary or desirable to provide a service or a facility which will contribute to the general well-being of the community and the neighborhood. And the fire station will not, under the circumstance of the particular case, be harmful to the health, safety, or general welfare of persons residing or working in the vicinity, or be injurious to property or improvements in the vicinity. And also that a fire station may have reasonable conditions imposed by the planning commission, which may mitigate proposed uses' detrimental effects if there are any. So those are the 4 requirements. Those are the 4 conditions, the conditions of the conditional use permit that are required. If you don't mind scrolling down just a little bit more, Alicia. So I'll go through this quickly, and then if you have any questions, let me know. This is a pretty straightforward conditional use, I think, but certainly if you guys have questions, let me know. The structures proposed on this site include a 15 by 60 foot trailer that would house fire personnel that would stay on site full time, and also a 20 by 40 foot tent, or really it's actually, I think, a Quonset style structure that would cover the fire truck and other apparatus on site. Some of you have maybe driven by that site. There's been some site work done to create kind of a crushed gravel site that would accommodate a fire truck, etc. Before I go any further, I should note that Chief Eric Hales from the Wasatch County Fire Department is on this call, and he will be able to answer questions that are probably more specific to the use than perhaps I would. So he is on the call, and if you have any questions for him down the road, just let me know. If you don't mind scrolling up just a little bit, Alicia, I want to make sure that we address these four conditions. So the first one is you could see there again the location on that location map. If you scroll down just a little bit further, Alicia, you'll see this is a site plan for the layout. You can see we've got the in-out movements, the ingress egress, and the turnaround movements to get it into the Quonset hut. To the left-hand side, to kind of the southwest side of that would be the trailer, and then the area that's a bit pockmarked, you can barely maybe see it on this image, is the area that is the crushed gravel, the compacted surface area for the fire station. And then there's a couple of, I think there's 3 parking spaces there as well to accommodate personnel on that site. You could scroll down just a little, Alicia, and you can get a kind of a conceptual understanding of, you know, the trailer on the left where folks would live and kind of utilize as an office, and the Quonset hut structure on the right. Scroll down a little further. I will walk through, you can keep going. I will walk through the 4 conditions that are required pursuant to the code. So again, it has to be in harmony with the general intent and the purpose of the general plan. Again, located on Recreation Drive, this is near the entrance of the Shoreline neighborhood. It's a temporary site, up to 3 years, and it is in conformance with our general plan, our comprehensive plan. It notes that we don't have fire stations, that there is a desire to have fire stations, police stations, additional community facilities within the community. And so this certainly does meet with one of the goals of the general plan, which notes a desire for emergency responders. If you guys have any questions as I'm going through these, some of these are pretty
Yeah,
straightforward.
Thomas, I have a question. How
Sure.
temporary is temporary?
It's up to 3 years.
Up to 3 years. And if I remember correct, wasn't there something on the ballot recently about a fire station? No?
Yes,
think
there
it
was
was
a,
there. Go ahead.
it was
Oh,
a bond or tax.
The county
that was
ballot. Go ahead, Chief. Yeah.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand the connection between the bond and this, so maybe there's none.
Well, so what was on the ballot was a EMS sales tax to help fund EMS services, primarily EMS services in the county. And it was a 0.5% sales tax that did pass last election, and it will go into effect essentially April 1st is when we'll start seeing those revenues being collected, starting the second quarter of this year. With those funds, because we do provide fire and EMS coverage, those funds that will generate will help assist us in funding this fire station. The goal is that we won't have to go out for another bond, or we don't have to go out for tax increase to pay for this station. So over the next 3 years, we feel we'll generate enough revenue to pay for this fire station in Hideout, as well as others that we need throughout the county. So that's kind of our goal. We are working with the town on that triangle parcel across 248, and we actually have a meeting with UDOT on Monday, I believe, to discuss access with that. So
Thank you.
this is a temporary solution. I know it's not the best solution, but from what we have now, with all our resources being on the other side of the lake, getting some personnel, first responders, as well as a fire truck on that side of the lake, I think is very beneficial.
That's helpful. Thank
So
you.
how is this being funded?
This right now is basically out of our capital projects. I know the town is looking for to raise some funds to capture some of their costs, but I have allocated money from our capital projects fund and been authorized by our fire board to put this together so we can get over there sooner than 3 years.
And along that line, some of the costs associated with the town, et cetera, I think we are launching, the town is launching a fundraising campaign to raise some of those monies.
Do we have an estimated time frame of when we think this would get ready to go?
Chief?
Yeah, the time frame is the structure has been ordered, so it's in manufacture right now. It'll be about 6 weeks in manufacture. So the time it's shipped here, I would say we'll have the materials on site for the tent structure, probably middle of May. And so hopefully, but over the next few weeks, we're going to be pouring the cement pad of where that structure is going to be. We had the electrical inspection for the trailer today, and we're hooking up the sewer and water to the trailer as we speak. So over the next, month and a half, we should see good progress.
And is this including a ambulance? Or?
There will not be an ambulance, but our staff is cross-trained, so they'll be the first responders, that they will have medical equipment on their apparatus. We only had room for one apparatus, so we have a quick response truck that's a 1,500 gallon minute pumper over there, and a couple firefighters and cross-trained advanced EMTs. And then the ambulance will come from Jordanelle.
So GCD is not doing the construction, you're doing the construction.
They have been doing all the site they've
Operation?
been doing all the site work. They've done the site prep. They've been brought in the sewer, water, and electrical lines, but we are contracting to have the pad placed and the electrical hooked up after they've done the underground work.
Okay.
Chief, just a question, Thomas, this isn't really related to what you're discussing. I'm just curious, is it 3 staff you're gonna have there, 24/7?
It'll be
Or
2.
2?
It'll be
2,
2.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we
You
have
guys-
any rules in place, or do we need any rules in place for that sound? Like, are there gonna be alarms going off or anything like that?
No, yes, there will be a paging system inside the trailer, but I don't think it'll carry outside, and unless there's, rush hour traffic on Shoreline or something, I don't think they'll need all their lights and sirens to get through there. But we will, we don't leave the station and turn on the sirens, only use them if their people are in our way. So hopefully we will keep that to a minimum. We will do our best.
Okay, I noticed on item F of Thomas's, put together that, stormwater management mitigation measures, are they, who, does our town engineer approve that, or, how does that get done? I live downhill and I don't want to be, because don't you, like, when you get back, you watch your trucks down, and don't you use a lot of water?
Not a lot of water. Yes, we do try to keep our trucks clean and get the salt off them, because you all spend a lot of money on that equipment. So, but we won't be sending hundreds and gallons of water down the road. It'll just be a small hose. But I know Corey with Epic Engineering, who's been working with Thomas and the other members, has kind of a storm management plan associated with that.
And I could just go into a little bit of detail. Our understanding, I spoke with our engineering team today. I wasn't able to connect with Corey specifically today, but he was the one who designed the site to generally, if I understand our engineering team correctly, to basically sheet flow the runoff into the street, and then it goes into a pipe and it goes into a stormwater retention basin that Glenn has built at the bottom of Shoreline. So the stormwater should be addressed there. One of the things that I would recommend as a condition that I didn't include in the resolution that you all have is that the town planner and the town engineer must review the final site plan and confirm that all requirements of the Hideout Management Code, municipal code, and associated conditions are sufficiently addressed. I did speak with Ryan and Scott today, our town engineers, and they said, just make sure that that's in there so that we do address stormwater, but I think it has been adequately addressed by Corey, from Epic Engineering. But I think that is a good question. We just want to make sure the final plan does address that.
Because, as you're looking at the lake, I actually just drove by there again on my way here. And, to the right, if you're looking at the lake, to the right, there's almost a little bit of a culvert. And, I don't know which builders, because it's kind of at where they come together, Homes and GCD, they had, sandbags. Because water was rushing down last year and going across the road. So if that is gonna be the exit for the water, a culvert under the road might be a good idea.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good point. And we do want our engineering team to look at it, do a quick review of the calcs and make sure that it is adequate. We will do that. That'll be a
Because
condition.
it's over by the telephone poles.
Okay.
And that's already in the resolution, right, Thomas?
That
At the very bottom.
It's in the resolution at the very bottom for the stormwater. I am recommending that we add the sentence that I just said as maybe conditions of approval, maybe a new D. Again, the town planner or town engineer must review the final site plan and confirm all requirements of the Hideout Municipal Code and associated conditions are sufficiently addressed. And so that may be a new D. I could send that to you, Alicia, but that's kind of an umbrella statement, and I think we should put that in there. And we'll coordinate with Corey and Chief Hales. Just real quickly, I want to get through a couple of the final three conditions. If you don't mind going to you're on the there you go. If you go up to number 2, scroll down a little bit, Alicia, actually, if you don't mind. I think it's down further. Oh, sorry, scroll up a little bit to number 2. I just want to make sure we walk through these because these 4 are required for approval. That's 4, go up to 2, there you go. That the fire station is necessary to provide services or facilities which would contribute to the general well-being. I think that that's pretty straightforward, that in order to protect the health, safety, welfare, a fire station is an adequate facility for that. Number 3 notes that it would not be harmful to the health, safety, or general welfare. This location is not directly adjacent to any other residential development, and the developer, Glenn Gabler, is not proposing to build directly around this facility or adjacent to this facility, I should say. So it should not cause any issues. It is on Recreation Drive. Corey from Epic Engineering has done the ingress, egress, the backouts, the maneuvering calculations. So I think that is in conformance with our code. And then the 4th one is a review of some potential additional conditions that you all may want to look at, whether it is compatibility with surrounding structures. I don't know that for a temporary structure that's a terribly essential condition, but there may be some need for screening. Chief Hales, you may be able to speak to this. I don't think Corey's on tonight. I don't know that there's any additional screening, but if there were the need for that, there were some discussions with regard to maybe a fence or a core tent fence, or maybe some plantings in the ground that could be easily moved, planted in bucket structures or planters. I'm not so sure that that's necessary, but if it were, based on a site assessment, that could be something that the town planner and the town engineer review. Again, the others are landscaping. We addressed the stormwater. Chief Hales, do you know the height of the proposed Quonset hut structure? Because I think that's the taller of the 2.
That's
We did
the structure.
height.
Yes. The structure is 25 feet.
Okay, 25 feet. So it meets our height requirements for the our spa zoning.
Yeah.
Is there any lighting proposed in this area, Chief Hales?
Not, there'll obviously be light on the man door of the trailer, but we're not putting any lighting on the exterior of this hut.
Okay,
There will
so
be
just
lighting
maybe,
inside, but not on
Okay.
the outside.
okay. So should be no disturbance there. I know that there was I spoke to the town engineer today, Ryan and Scott, and they noted that I think there was a little berm that was being proposed around the site, presumably to help keep the stormwater directed again toward the street to the culvert that takes it down to the retention basin in lower shoreline. We'll want to make sure that we review that. There may be some minor changes to that according to the engineers, but shouldn't be anything significant. And then maybe, is there any landscaping being proposed?
Not by us. I know in talking with the committee that's been working on this, the mayor suggested that possibly after, depending on how it turns out, we may need to add something just to make it a little more appealing
Okay,
for the next few years.
that's something we can put it as a condition that
Yeah.
we'll review that for final standards and potentially inclusion of landscaping.
Yeah.
And again, if the planning commission has any recommendations, thoughts, input, please provide.
Well, I think some landscaping would be nice there, a few trees or something that would, enhance the hut.
We can do
That
that.
would be nice. Or bushes.
Okay, we can do that.
Thomas, do you have anything else?
No, that's it. Unless you have anything for us, we do have a resolution prepared for this that notes the findings of fact, the conclusions of law, and the conditions of approval. So, with the addition of the one that I noted, I think that's a bit of an umbrella statement. We'll continue to coordinate with Chief Hales, but we think this is a great opportunity. It's an ideal site for a temporary facility, and so we'll continue to coordinate with him.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Thomas or the chief?
I have one last question. How close are houses going to be built to the area? In the next 3 years, do we have an idea? Like, are we gonna ask the builders not to build within a certain footprint or?
It's actually Glenn Gabler, again, from Shoreline Development, who, again, where this is being located is platted as two houses, a twin house structure, actually. He said he is not proposing to build any housing up at the Recreation Drive, Recreation Drive, Deepwater Drive and intersection for a few years. And so I don't think we'll see anything built up here in the adjacent proximity for those 3 years.
What about homes on the other side? Are they coming any closer to it than they are right now, or no?
You
I
said,
don't.
did you say the hotel on the other side? Is that what you said?
No, I said homes, the,
Deer Waters. No, Lakeview.
Yeah, Deer Waters.
Yeah.
It's Deer Waters. up
Deer
there.
Waters.
Nope, they're actually built out. Their housing's built, so there wouldn't be anything built on that side either, and there's nothing been platted or approved for that. So it should be pretty open in the immediate area right around this site.
Okay.
And it's near the pickleball court, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
And a
currently
little-
in, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I actually see this as a great location.
Yeah. Walked around it.
Are there any other questions from any of the commissioners?
Will the gravel be a problem for snow removal?
Chief,
Like in
I'll
the
leave that
winter?
to you.
Well,
Yeah.
we hope not. We actually put down crushed concrete, which we think is a little bit a more solid base, but it is something we're going to have to continue to look at and maybe have to refresh every spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. If we had a
Yeah, I
winter
was
like
wondering
this one, it's not too
how you
bad, but
put this- to get the fire truck out. That's what I was just thinking of.
yeah. No, we've been on this site quite a bit with the truck that we assigned to this area, and we've been
Okay.
making sure it works really well. So.
There being no more questions from the commissioners, we will open this up for a public hearing now. If anyone would like to make a public comment, please state your name and address first before your question or statement.
Looks like you have a hand raised, Jim
Hey,
Gruber.
Chairman, it looks like you have a hand raised by Jim Gruber, actually.
Mr. Gruber, go ahead, please.
My name's Jim Gruber. I live at 452 East Overlook Loop, and I'll tell you, I love this area more every year. And I just wanted to thank the committee, the planning committee, and the chief for all the work they've done on this. I'm a retired Chicago firefighter, so I know how important it is to get to somebody that's ill quickly. It's right now it's taking 10-15 minutes to get over here, and when they're done it's going to take like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's just going to make a big difference in saving lives and property. And I heard their pumper ambulance is going to, it's just a pumper, right, Chief?
Yes.
But it's going to be staffed by ALS.
Yeah, we'll have advanced EMTs with medications, heart monitoring equipment.
So that's actually the most advanced
It's great.
paramedics you can have on the rig. They have several different classes, and that's gonna just make it. It's like almost having a doctor come up on there, because they can hook you up to IVs. They can work the defibrillator. They can administer drugs to you. So it's just, I think it's such a big deal to have this here, and to have the pumper too, which I think is even a bonus, because to be able to knock the fire down some before the other rigs get here is just really important. And I think having firefighters in this community with us makes them part of the community. And I know from my own experience working in a firehouse in any neighborhood, you become part of that neighborhood. Everybody gets to know you, you get to know them, and they really respond better when they're in the neighborhood. So I just want to thank you guys for setting this up. I think it's an excellent idea, and it's a time that's come for it.
Thank you.
Thank you. That resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I don't see another hand online. I'm not sure if anybody.
We'll give it a minute just in
Apply.
case before we close it.
Okay.
Oh, it's not.
Okay, there being no more hands raised or questions from the public, we will close the public hearing part of this. And Polly, am I correct in thinking that we do not need a motion, seeing that we're not making a negative or positive recommendation, we just can take a vote?
Yeah, you're gonna take a vote, and I would suggest that, well, you're gonna need a motion. And the motion would be to adopt the resolution approving a conditional use permit for a temporary fire station. And
And-
then, once you do that, that will, then the project would pass if you approved it.
And
Okay,
if I
thank you.
if I could make a request on the resolution that you see in front of you, I'd make a correction on the second line down for whereas the owner of the property known as parcel number 8053, the one right below it should read 8054. And again, I would add a condition of approval D. Town planner or town engineer must review the final site plan and confirm the requirements of the HMC Hideout Municipal Code and associated conditions are sufficiently addressed. And otherwise, I think the resolution is thorough as is with those two.
I have one other question or addition. Should we change, Chief? I think you said you thought it was going to be a 25-foot structure, 25-foot tall structure.
Yes,
that
I believe
correct?
so. I
And
believe
then
so.
so
At the peak.
Should we change that to 25 feet as well, Thomas? On
Yes.
section 7, findings of the facts.
Number 7 in findings.
It didn't give the height.
There's no height there. It
We
is still
can-
20 by 40.
Yep,
Was
we
it-
can, we can note that height there, so maybe right under that, we'll note that a maximum height of 25 feet. We could put that in. If that works. We'll do
That being said, I would like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion. I would like to make a motion that we approve the recommendations to, for temporary use fire station, for the conditional use permit on the parcels noted in Hideout, Utah.
I'll second that.
Would you like to add with adding the conditions that the town planner has asked for?
Yes, with the conditions that the town planner has asked for.
Okay. That being second, we will take a vote. Glynis?
Yes, as long as the stormwater is taken care of.
Joel?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
And Tony's a yes. Therefore, the conditional use permit is approved. And I believe the next step is being forwarded to the mayor to sign.
Right.
That being said, that takes care of all the items on tonight's agenda. And would somebody else like to make another motion?
I'll make a
What is it, adjourn.
Anybody want to second that?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Glynis?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
And Tony's a yes. Thank you all for attending tonight. And
Thank
we will
you.
See you on the 18th. If it stays on schedule.
That's right. Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night. See y'all.
Good night.